Okay, so I want to show you how to create meshes. There is an automatic way to create meshes in Moho, but I want to show you how to create them by hand, because if you have the control over creating the meshes yourself, you have a lot of control over the details when you are animating. So I prefer to show you this method, but you can use the other one if you want, depending on the scene you be animating. So basically I will take this picture here and I will create a new vector layer, and I will call this vector layer mesh. Okay, so then using the add point tool, I am in frame 0 always, I will start adding points, and since I want to create my own mesh, I will first create points for the overall shape. So I will just create this shape here, and now I will add some more points to generate the overall shape of the leaf. Okay, I will try to do this fast. So now the idea is we will create the mesh following the shape of the image, so of the actual object in the image. It can be an image, it can be an illustration, but it has its own three-dimensional logic, so we will follow that logic. So for instance, in this case, we will follow this part of the leaf, so because that part is very important, and during the animation we want to keep that part consistent. We don't want it to break to the sides or to act weirdly. So what I will do is I will create a line here in the middle, and actually I will create a second line, so it is crossing the entire shape. I am moving this, and I am using sharp corners because the meshes work only with sharp corners. So now I will start adding points here, and basically I am creating two lines for this part in the middle. So this shape will control and will keep that middle part consistent during the animation. So that's why I'm creating this. So let's suppose it's this. Okay, so now I have my overall shape and the middle part. Now another thing that is very important for meshes is, normally if you move a mesh and you stretch it, I will just triangulate this automatically so it can I can show you what I mean. So I will just triangulate this. Okay, so for instance I have this mesh now, okay, and it's looking nice, and I will assign the mesh to the image, but the thing is, if I start moving this point, and maybe I move this point down, I start getting this kind of weird shape here. So you can see it's not bending very nicely, and at some point if I stretch it too much, the borders and some internal parts, they start to stretch, and we lose the line quality of the image, or the quality of the image in this case. So something like this happens, which is basically the pixels are stretching to get the new shape. So in order to avoid that, I will undo this. This was made by triangulating automatically the shapes. So I'm back to the shape I was creating, and I will go back to frame 0. So what I will do is to create a second border, like an internal border here. So I will start doing it here. So basically now the border will be will have two lines also. So I am surrounding the border with two lines. So that will allow me to keep the border consistent. Even if I distort the shape a lot, the border will still be consistent. So I will continue doing this. We'll connect here and there. So maybe some points here. So you can see how I have two borders surrounding the border of the picture. So there, maybe one more point here, and I will continue. So then the idea is when I want to move the border, I will actually take all this line and I will move these 2 points together. So that will keep the border consistent if I move, because the distortion will be happening inside of the leaf, but not in the actual border. So I will continue doing that. I hope this makes sense. If not, you can ask me, please. So I will continue creating this. Okay, so now I have the border, and you can see it's like an internal border happening here. Okay, and now what I will do is to create some internal lines for the leaf, but in order to work I want to follow the veins of the leaf, so that you can see how this angle is pointing in a direction. So I will create my mesh also pointing in that direction. So for instance, if I connect this to this, I will make the connection by pointing in the direction. Let me just I will make this leaf a bit transparent so you can see it better. So okay, so I'm connecting this here, and you can see how I am following the angle of the leaf and the shape of the leaf. So I am connecting here, and I am connecting here. Probably I will have to add more points, but that's not a problem. I can continue adding points to keep the shape consistent. Okay, and okay, I will try to do it quickly. So I will continue doing this. I'm not using these points, so I will remove them. One thing that it's very important for this kind of creation for the meshes is to create shapes of 3 or 4 points. If a shape has 5 or more points, it won't work with the idea we are working here. So it's very important to keep everything made of 3 or 4 points. So for instance, if I will paint this part, let me show you. If I will paint this part has actually 6 points, so it won't work for me. So what I will do is I will split this in 2. So now I'm crossing it with this line, so that will make the shapes to have 4 points instead. So we need to be sure that everything is made of 4 points or 3 points. For instance, in this case, I want to finish with 3 points, so you can see I have 2 triangles here. Okay, and now I will do the same with the other side of the other part of the leaf. So I will continue this same line, so you can see how the same line is crossing the leaf. So I'm just continuing the drawing of these lines, and I didn't use those points, so I will remove them. So I can be adding and removing points at this point. It is totally okay, because I am just testing. I mean, right now I'm just rigging the shape, so in the rigging stage I can add or remove as many points as I want. So again, I'm following the shape of the leaf. I will continue here, and I am almost done now, and I will remove this, maybe put this here. So you can see I'm just adjusting to make everything follow the line. So now I will cross this here, and actually here. So I'm splitting these shapes that will be created. I mean, I need them to be created with 4 points and not 6 points. So that's what I am doing now here, and also I have some room for animation here, so it's good to have this line crossing here because it will allow me to bend the leaf in a different way. So I am almost done here. I just need to close these shapes. Okay, I didn't do something with the border in this case, so I will do it now. Actually, it should be something, let's suppose something like this, and maybe I will put a point here because I will need to, probably I will want to bend that part of the leaf, and I will remove this point because it's not doing anything at this part. And now I will do the same with the other part of the leaf. So maybe this will go here, and this is done here. Okay, this should work, and I will add some more points here. The important thing is to keep everything made of 3 or 4 points. So now I will start painting, and to paint, the order in which you paint is the order of the shapes in like in 3 dimensions. So what I paint at the beginning will be behind what I paint after it. So what I mean is, oops, actually I forgot to, whoops. What I mean is actually I will start painting from one side of the leaf to the other side. So I will start with this border. Let me show you. I will use the paint bucket now, so I need to start painting the shapes made of 4 or 3 points that I created. So I will start painting from left, or from, in this case, from the top of the leaf to the bottom. So I will start with this border, and now I will continue with the rest. So you can see how I am following the order of the leaf. So basically what I am doing is by painting in this order, I am defining what parts will be in front and what parts will be on bottom of the layer. So if I want to animate, or if I want to simulate a 3D rotation of the leaf, it will work, because some parts, I mean the half I already painted, will be on bottom of the half that I am painting now. Oops, I am undoing this. A good tip with the paint bucket is, if you click and hold the click, you can try, by dragging, you can try, you can see where the software will paint. So to be sure, it is good not just to click, just click and hold, and be sure that the squares be in the shape you want to paint. And once you are sure, then I will release the pen. So that's what I am doing here. Okay, so I am almost done here. This is a simple example. I will show you later a more complex example, but it is good to see the logic. So now you can see, I can totally see the leaf in this shape, because it's like a 3D model of the leaf. You can totally follow the lines, and you know that this is a leaf. This is not like a random triangulated shape. So now I will use this script here. I will give you this script. So don't worry about that. So I will click on this script, and basically what this does is it splits every square into triangles, because the software needs triangles. So I painted the squares. I painted shapes of 4 points, and this script will split them in triangles. So you can see how it works. Okay, so now I have my triangles. That means my shape, my vector layer, now it is a mesh layer. And I will double click it because I don't want to see it. So what I will do is to hide it in the editing view, and I will select don't render this layer too. So this layer won't be visible nor in the project and in the final render. So that's the safest way to hide a layer. So please, with meshes, always do this because we don't want them to be rendered. Okay. So now I will open the layer properties here, and in the image tab I will select the mesh. Okay. Remember I set the opacity to 30%. I will set it back to 100% to see my actual image. And now I will use the magnet tool, and I can start distorting my leaf, and you can see how it is following the shape, and the shape is following a logic, and you can see how the border keeps its consistency. So I can do that, for instance, or I can go back and do something similar to the other side. So I can bend. So of course you can edit the points by hand too. You can move the points one by one. I normally prefer to use, or I use a lot, the magnet tool because it's a quick way to modify everything. And also another nice thing that the magnet tool has is that if you select some points, for instance, I will select the points of the middle part of the leaf. So I have all these points selected here, and now I will go back to the magnet tool, and I can I can check here selected points only, and it will distort only the points I have selected, so I can adjust some details here without distorting the rest of the leaf. Okay, so let's suppose that's what I want, even if I know it's not working great, but anyway, for this example it's doing fine. And what I wanted to show you about the shape order is that since I painted this top part first, if I, for instance, if I select these triangles here, okay, I will just use the magnet tool with selected points only, and I take these points and I move them down, these points will be behind the rest of the leaf. So you can see how because it looks 3D, because basically it's that part of the shape is behind of the other part. So I can simulate a 3D rotation. I will inverse the selection here, and I will try to generate some kind of 3D rotation for the leaf. Okay, let's suppose something like this. So now I can make some other adjustments here, because of course some shapes are not working right now. And now I can select some other points, for instance this line here. I want this line to be looking up actually. So let me just copy that and that. So you can see I'm rotating this in I'm simulating a 3D rotation. It's far to be perfect, but it works as an example. So there you have. And of course you can save this into a smartphone, so you can rotate the leaf by using a smartphone. Another nice thing is that if you open the mesh layer properties and you go to vectors, you can activate animated shape order. So that means that you can make the other part to be in front. So for instance, if I select with the select shape tool, I select all these. Let me make this visible. If I select all these shapes here, okay, let's suppose I selected everything, I can make it at some point I can make it pass to the front. So now the other part of the leaf is in front and the other is behind. So in theory you could create an entire rotation just by animating the order. It will take you a while, but it's possible. Okay, so let me show you the last example. There is a trunk here. I created the mesh. Let me remove the animation of this. So for this, I created this mesh. So you can see how the mesh follows the shape of the trunk. You can actually read the trunk here. It makes sense, and I try to follow the shape of every fold it has. So since the mesh is following the three-dimensional shape of the trunk, I can use the magnet tool, and you can see I can get some very nice distortions by just using the magnet tool. So I can simulate some kind of 3D rotation or whatever, and it is already working, and of course I can work over the details after and adjust some other parts. But since the shape, the mesh is created by following the actual structure of the image, it's very simple to distort. So I can, for instance, in this part I can simulate a 3D rotation of a very small detail here by just moving these internal points. So you can see I have a lot of control over the shape, and it's nice because I have the control, but also the magnet tool works nicely for the general shape. So normally what I do is I create the general shape with the magnet tool. I just grab some points with it to get a general idea of what I want to see, and once I have that, I start distorting the specific points. I mean moving the specific points to get the exact distortion I want. And again, I can select some points and just move those selected points with the magnet tool, so I can work over the details too. Okay, and of course this works for 3D rotations, and which we probably will use them a lot if, for instance, we are animating the leaves and they are moving with the wind, or someone moves them, they will rotate and they will tilt and turn. But you can also use them to animate the character. So for instance, if this tree will be a character, maybe it can be distorted in some way. So maybe in this position I want actually the trunk to look like this. Oops, wait. So I don't know, for some reason I want this, and then if the trunk goes up again, maybe I want the points to reset to their original position, but I want this to be different. So I don't know, it's breathing or whatever, but you can see I have control over the animation, and I can treat this as a character too. So I use meshes for a lot of characters too. And another nice thing about using meshes is that if I draw something, for instance, if I create a new layer and let me draw something here. It's not drawing. There. If I draw something here, okay, I will just do this, and I assign the mesh to the vector layer too. The vector layer will also follow the movement, so I can add whatever I want to my animation. Of course, this is this is nothing but okay, it can be better. Let me try something. Okay, there, so someone painted it with spray. So you can see it's moving too. That's the entire idea. Anyway, I'm sorry this video is very long, but I hope it will make your animation and mesh creating process easier. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.